Hey folks, welcome back to Nkandla Africa. This is Chris. So what really happened in Nkandla? Well, in what's being termed Tea with Jacob, a meeting between some senior stalwart ANC members, former President Jacob Zuma, the leader of the economic freedom fighters Julius Malema, and discredited felon Tony Yengeni, the criminal former whip of the ANC, all met at Jacob Zuma's palatial residence in Nkandla this past Friday, the 5th of February, 2021. What was it all about? Well, news reports from the Independent Online and others cited inside sources who stated a number of reasons why this meeting took place, one of which supposedly was to encourage Jacob Zuma to actually appear before the Zondo Commission and give his testimony to defend himself, to sort out what's going on with the supposed corruption during his time as president and prior to that. Well, that's one side of the story. Other sources claim that this was about dealing with white monopoly capital, and taking back our country, restoring South Africa to its former glory. What former glory? Under apartheid? Well, there's been no glory in South Africa since the imposition of apartheid in many respects, certainly since 1994. So I don't know what former glory they're talking about. And yet others said that this was something else altogether. So what is it? Well, let's do a little bit of speculation here. This is informed speculation, not simple, let's guess. Well, when the party conference took place that led to Cyril Ramaphosa being selected as the president of the African National Congress, and thereafter, shortly after Zuma resigned as president, as is the want for the ANC, because there's no direct elections for president of South Africa. The people don't vote for South Africa's president. It's fraudulent. It's actually a parliamentary system. They're not voting for president. Members of parliament vote for the president. By the way, those members of parliament aren't even picked by the voters. They have to vote for a party list. So the political parties hold all the power. They decide who sits in parliament, and they decide who becomes president. And as long as you have a majority, you can do whatever you want in South Africa. Look at Jacob Zuma facing rape charges, facing pervasive, massive corruption charges, and becomes president of South Africa because the ANC wanted it, not because he was qualified. Anyway, so what's happening here? Well, the party conference in which Cyril Ramaphosa was elevated, there was a serious break in the ANC. A mere 35 votes out of the 5,000 or so delegates who were gathered at the conference. Had it gone the other direction, the president of South Africa today would not be Cyril Ramaphosa, but in fact it would be Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, Jacob Zuma's ex-wife and former chairperson of the African Union Commission at Addis Ababa, where they sent her to get rid of her, former health minister and current minister of traditional affairs and things like that. So she's head of the National Coronavirus Command Council right now. So what's really going on in Nkandla? Well, here's one possibility. When you consider that the ANC, as I've predicted since 2016, is on the verge of fracturing yet again. Famously, the ANC is fractured into COPE, the Congress of the People's Party, led by Moise Lakota, or Terra Lakota, which did very well in its first poll, about 8%, but has fallen off the charts since then. Then famously fractured again with the creation of the Economic Freedom Fighters, in which many of the radicals in the ANC abandoned the party and joined Julius Malema. So it's fractured twice in recent memory. But the party is on the precipice of another fracture again. I'm predicting this since 2016. It's amazing to me that the party has held itself together, but it's mostly doing it through hatred of minorities and pilfering to keep people content. And that can't continue forever, particularly in a country whose credit rating is about to be downgraded again, almost to junk bond status, or to junk bond status, and who has no money in the till because of their pilfering, their mismanagement, and the destruction of the economy. So they're going to have to do something. Meantime, what's really happening? Well, here's one possibility. That party conference in which virtually 50% was a pro-Zuma camp and supported Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, presuming she would toe the line for Jacob Zuma, and they were of that same opinion. So 50% support that side and 50% support Ramaphosa's side. Well, it's easy for Ramaphosa to lose support, very easy, much harder to gain the Zuma faction. And it's not looking good. So what's going on in Nkandla? Well, this palatial mansion built at taxpayer expense in KwaZulu-Natal, illegitimately, criminally, by sitting President Jacob Zuma to become his retirement home. It's good to be the king. They held this gathering. Well, here's the thing. Zuma and Malema publicly hate each other. Malema has embarrassed Zuma repeatedly, called him out. He was expelled from his party, from the African National Congress, for his indiscipline, for his attacks on the party leader, Jacob Zuma. So to find them having tea together was quite an interesting situation. Throw in the disgraced criminal Tony Yengeni, the former chief whip of the African National Congress, who went to jail for his crimes, and also other members of EFF, and the Yengeni mayor also was there. Strange bedfellows indeed. Perhaps this is what's happening, folks. Perhaps this is all an effort to achieve the following. You see, in order to unseat a president, you simply need a vote of no confidence, which is a parliamentary system. That's how people get rid of prime ministers. So if the Zuma faction, which is about half ANC support, could ally itself, at least temporarily, with the economic freedom fighters who control 10% of the seats in parliament, that would give them 38 to 40% of the seats in parliament, and then they just need a small number of opposition parties to team up with them to get over the 50%, to have a vote of no confidence and unseat Cyril Ramaphosa. Once Cyril Ramaphosa is unseated as the president, simply a member of parliament, then they will have to vote. And at that point, what would likely happen for a reward is that the EFF will continue to support the ANC, and ANC members are not going to vote for a candidate from a minority party, an opposition party as president, even if they're unhappy with the candidate. You may get half the party angry that there was a no confidence vote that throws Ramaphosa out of office, but that's not going to make them angry enough. They're going to vote for John Steenhuisen from the DA, or they're going to vote for someone from Freedom Front Plus or Mangosuthu Buthelezi from the Nkandla Freedom Party. They're not going to vote for them for president. What they are going to do is vote for whomever the ANC puts forward. And the Zuma faction will put forward most likely either David Mabuza or Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. One of those two candidates. And then all the ANC, which puts them on the 50%, would vote for that candidate, and they would become the president. Now, the payoff, why would Julius Malema go along with something like this? Well, the deputy president also needs to be picked. And Julius Malema could find himself a heartbeat away from the presidency, at least in his mind, as the deputy president of South Africa, through a vile coalition of Zuma supporters within the ANC and the EFF, with some help from opposition parties to declare Ramaphosa unfit for office through a vote of no confidence. That is not a far-fetched possibility, folks. And maybe that's what's happening during tea with Jacob at Nkandla. Have you thought about that? Could this be an effort to get a vote of no confidence to remove Cyril Ramaphosa, who's unpopular with half the ANC from the outset, and unpopular with EFF, to get someone else like Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma or David Mabuza into the seat of the presidency for the rest of this term, in an effort for the ANC to try to either turn it around or steal all they can before the 2024 elections, national elections. Why would the EFF go along with it? Because their fellow, Julius Malema, Juju, could be elevated to be the deputy president. Wow, think about that. And think about all the political coinage they'll make off that. Look at us. We have a coalition government. This is the ANC and the EFF. And then moving forward, expropriation without compensation becomes a fait accompli. The wholesale theft, the demonization of minorities continues unabated. Farm murders, not addressed. Cash in transit heist, although classified as a high priority crime, ignored. Investment in the police, not done. While this coalition pillages South Africa. Well, it's a very real possibility, folks. And I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but if it does happen, you heard it here first. Maybe Tea with Jacob is all about a vote of no confidence to get rid of Cyril Ramaphosa, to elevate a different ANC member to run the party and the country, and reward Juju by making him the deputy president. Think about it. Anyway, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris White Africa, why not become one? Where else have you heard someone else make this prediction? Smash the subscription button right down there. Be sure to toggle the bell icon to get notified of updates. And please give us a like. Likes drive viewership, and everybody enjoys getting views on their video. Thanks a lot. Take care.